Welcome back. Now, this part is going to be quite different to what we've had previously with theory parts, because I've already recorded the gameplay ahead of time, and I'm going to be doing my theories without actually playing the game. So we'll actually have a more coherent way of looking at things and going through my list of theories. We're testing this out to see how it works. You'll see me do some crazy stuff when I do this gameplay, by the way. So some really weird stuff. Do like this gun. Yeah, I know, I'm watching it as I record right now. So, let's get down to it. We've got 3 points I want to bring up. So number 1, homunculi sacrifice. Yes, that's what I've called this. It started as an idea when we were on the island in the previous chapter. And I saw that altar and I started to think, wait a minute. Altina seemed to have resonated with something. What's going on here? And my guess from that is Milliam would also have the same kind of resonance or something going on because they are homunculi. Now we also know that the Zero Child was also a homunculi using alchemy.
Yes.
We've been through that previously several points. We know this is a thing.
Sorry.
So my question then inevitably becomes, what are the homunculi, or the homunculuses, actually for? There has to be a reason they exist, right?
It's mine.
There has to be. So we know from the Zero Child that they brought about the Azure Tree. We saw it. We know it from Cold Steel 2. We saw that tree appear. So what if the Zero Child was sacrificed, or at least offered up, as a means of summoning the Azure Tree? Because, again, we've not played the Crossbow games, so we've only got Cold Steel to go on. I'm not entirely sure on the details there, so maybe that's a thing. And if that's a thing, what are the implications for Altina and Milliam? Because then one of them's going to be potentially sacrificed, or both of them. Thinking about it, I haven't got that on my list. It's like potentially both of them have to be sacrificed or offered up in order to summon something. I don't know what the something would be, but it would have to be something big on the scale of the Azure Tree or the Infernal Castle.
Now.
Something that huge that just appears out of nowhere, essentially. Probably from this other dimension that they keep mentioning, this other side. The other side, that's what they call it, isn't it? The other side that they keep going on about. Maybe it's pulling something from there, something hidden away from the world, but you need something powerful, something like a Septarian, in order to pull something from somewhere. Because we know very well, when Altina's, like when she had that resonance, that location became one of the shrines. So it's something appeared around there, and that's all I've really got at the moment on that idea. At the moment, it really is. It's like got some other thoughts jumping in my head as I talk about this. That's the only thing with reading my theories. It's like other things start to jump in my head as I go. But that's as much as I've got, really. Just the idea that one or both of them are going to be sacrificed to summon something on the scale of the Azure Tree or the Infernal Castle. Maybe the final dungeon in this entire game or something like that. And maybe this is what, maybe it'll be Milliam, and maybe this is the reason Altina will sing that song that I mentioned. Maybe. Maybe. We shall see. We shall see. So, we have got a scene coming up soon, so I should start my second section pretty quickly. We're going to have several jumping points throughout this as we progress, obviously, because even though I'm recording this audio after the fact, I know when a scene's coming up, so it's sort of like, yeah, I'm going to have to try and line it up nicely. So anyway, number 2 on my theory list, the Divine Knights and Resurrection. Yes, resurrection, because we've seen what's happened with Crow. So anyway, each person that we've actually seen return from the dead has sort of like a ghostly divine knight. Now I see 2 possibilities with this. 2 possibilities. So we'll get through number 1 here before the actual scene starts after this. So, number 1. The Divine Knight's personality is literally that of previous users. So it's like, their memories are not their own.
Too slow.
It's like, by this logic, Valimar would actually be Drykles. And it's a case of, they become that person. If that makes sense. This one isn't like the one I stick to here. Like, the second one is more what I think is going on. But I've got this other idea, so it's like...
Yes.
So by this logic, like, Valimar would be Drykles, okay? This could actually explain how Rean is getting Drykles' memories. Because he has a resonance. He is the awakener of Valimar, so he's getting the memories of the previous person. It's possible, but that isn't what I think is going on. But we will get round over to the second possibility. Probably after several scenes, because there's one coming up right now. Phew, that was pretty dangerous. We cleared it, somehow. The Ouroboros 3's performance was quite impressive. Tio helped you somewhere along the way, right? That's right. One of the versions of the Ouroboros Gear 2, the Eidolon Gear, was developed jointly with the Foundation. Used the production data from that and Erebonia's Panzer Soldat to develop this new model. Well, it's got nothing on a Panzer Soldat when it comes to battle, but it's pretty versatile. It can get into spots a Soldat can't. Agreed. It almost seems like more of a tool than a weapon. It's as though it would be incredibly useful for rescue and recovery during a disaster. That's a red flag. Makes me so happy to hear that, you guys. However, why are you, a student, so intent on developing a machine like this? Doesn't seem like your aim is to create a weapon to surpass Metal Gear, the Panzer Soldats. Ah. Ali, it's rude to be nosy like that. But, to be honest, I really want to know too. Things were rough after the 100 Days War, but these days, Erebonia and LaBelle have a pretty stable relationship. Even so, it was a bit of a surprise that you'd come here to study. From what I hear, Professor Schmidt and your grandfather were both disciples under Epstein together. Yes.
There were a few reasons, but one of them is because I want to grow as an engineer. Another reason is because I wanted to come help Erebonia, in place of some people very dear to me who couldn't make it here.
Oh.
And also, I made a promise to a friend.
A promise? Flashback.
She's so amazing. She's the kind of person who can do anything she puts her mind to. She lost her family when she was young, but she found a new one and is living happily with them. She actually wanted to visit Erebonia and Crossbell, but some things came up and she couldn't make it.
Oh well, I guess we'll have to wait for the 4th game.
But she didn't let that get her down. She continued her schooling in Liberal, and now she helps with bracer work and orbital network tests. I couldn't keep up. All I could do was admire her. But then I realized she's just doing whatever she can and giving it her all on behalf of the family she lost and the new one she found. It was around that time I found out from George and Olivier that a new school was about to be opened up in Erebonia, and the famous Professor Schmidt would be an advisor. And since the guild was having trouble here, Agate and another bracer would be sent over. So I talked with the people dear to me and told them I wanted to attend Thors branch campus to expand my potential. Since it was sort of out of the blue, most of them were against it. But that friend of mine supported me and convinced everyone else to let me go. She told me, "Tita, let's make a promise. I know everyone else will tell you to stay safe and not to push yourself too hard, so I won't say that stuff to you. Next time we meet, let's show each other the result of one thing we worked really hard to achieve."
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say, like she sounds really cool and I haven't even met her yet. She sounds like a really good friend. Yes, I'm a bit jealous. I see. So this machine is the thing you're going to show her? He's already told me all about this friend of hers. Well, from the sound of it, she doesn't seem like your average Jane.
She's my best friend.
What are you all standing around for? You're still only in the first half of level 4. Continue to waste time chatting and the sun's going down. Good job so far, though, everyone. I'll keep navigating you, so be careful as you press on ahead. Got it. She's something else. She's completely different from Albert. Alright, you gotta clear this trial no matter what. Yes, I'll do everything I can to provide you your data. Thank you, everyone. So, Tita, how did you end up convincing Agate? Seems like a softie deep down. I'm guessing all you had to do was give him a single teary, doe-eyed look, right? Wait, for real? Expand her potential. Ooh. Right, back to me on the theory side here. Now, I was going to go with the second possibility at this point, but the scene is coming up pretty quick. So I should actually do point 3 on my list, which is, how do I make these logical leaps about characters and events, etc., based on so much little evidence, like Musée. Just from the idea that she's from Ordis, I was like, maybe she's going to be the one in charge and take after Cayenne and all that type of stuff. That started from there. How do I do that? Well, it's quite simple for a start. Is that you can put pieces together because there's little clues throughout.
You can jump down the ladder, but don't injure yourself in the process.
Okay, Dad.
I mean, haven't you noticed that every character in this game has to have something
Looks like a real tough
going
one.
on? There's no just normal character. That makes sense. There's always something. Like each character has something going on with them. So Musée had to have something. So it was like, well, if she's from Ordis, that's probably going to be that link. Like, do you really think Ash is just going to be that he was adopted? And he's from Raquel? There's clearly more going on with him there. Right, so now I'm going to make a cut in this video and go to the next scene, which was in front of the elevator. This is just me going back to try and find a chest. The elevator. We've reached the end of the first half. That's it? That's all you say? We're only halfway. Even with the orbital gear. This is really darn tough. Yeah, it seems like the professor really turned up the difficulty this time. Aside from that, we also don't have a clear leader to take point for us. Even when we split up at the naval fortress, we still had Miss Angelica with us. What's the matter, guys? At the end of your rope already? If you were going to give up so soon, you'd have let me know from the start. I would have come with you. I've got a briefing later, you know. If you keep going at this rate, I'm gonna miss it. Are you trying to piss me off? We were merely resting for a moment. Such worries are unfounded. We're in an elevator, mate. We can't exactly do anything. Just shut up and watch us. I'm gonna kick the second half his ass. Half his ass, yep. And you can't do a damn thing about it. That's what I like to hear. But the second half is going to be even tougher, so watch yourselves. In that case, let's keep up the momentum. I'll start the elevator. Oh, you hadn't even pressed the button? No wonder Rean's on at you. Jeez, that's not what they're wearing. Phew, they made it through the first half okay. Yes, but they went over the estimate. Yeah, it seemed like they were talking some things out. By the way, that pocket watch of yours looks pretty elaborate. The one you fixed for me before was simple in comparison. One was this one has a number of additional functions, such as a built-in calendar. Altogether, it has nearly 1,000 different parts in it, 10 times more than a typical pocket watch. Oh, I didn't realize it was possible to do so much without orbital energy. I can tell you've taken good care of it. In fact, it's hard to even tell it's an antique. That's because it isn't an antique. It was created by a hopeless fool who passed away before his master. No, he didn't. Wait, do you mean Lisa's father, who is the leader of the gnomes? Clearly. Yes, Franz Reinfeld. He was Gwyn's son-in-law and my first apprentice. This watch is one of the projects he created before the accident. In his honor, I'm using it until it breaks. I see. The explosion that took his life. Yeah, sure. I believe that, yep. Wink. And whatever is that serious expression for? Oh, it's nothing. There are too many things I'd like to ask him about, but now's not the time. Anyway, that machine of Tita's is pretty impressive. I'm surprised she was able to build it herself. It's not just some randomly thrown together project. Use solid design principles and technology. Unlike me, the two-bit thinker Russell was blessed with a worthy successor. Well, I think Instructor Makarov and George are both pretty great. Don't mention George at the moment. Instructor Rean, we're at the second area now. We're ready for your navigation. Got it. Be sure to proceed carefully. Understood. Alright, let's proceed to the second half. Keep up the good work, Tita. Of course. Let's go, everyone.
What's one of Ouroboros' archaisms doing here?
We'll need to secure it along with the area.
Let's just break the damn thing!
Okay, so now they've stopped speaking, I can actually, get on with what I want to do, which is go back to the theories now with the Divine Knights and resurrection and all that type of stuff. So, as I was going on about, we had the whole idea of point one in my theory on that, where it's very much like the Divine Knights are literally that of their previous users. That's their personality, that's where it comes from, that's their memories being stored in some kind of hard drive in some way within the Divine Knight. I'm not really confident on that idea, but the second idea does spark some other interesting ideas further down the line.
Done already?
And actually, may actually explain some stuff that's happened in the past. Namely, the end of what happens at the end of Cold Steel 1. And answers a question I had then. Indeed. And in Cold Steel 2. So, the second possibility, and the one I feel is probably more accurate, like I said, is that there is a hidden function to the Divine Knights. That simply being that if you become an Awakener, you cannot die. Yeah, I know. This is quite simple. Let's look at this. Look at this quite simply. So if we look at all the Awakeners that we have in this game currently, that I'm wandering around with, the ones that have the ghostly Divine Knights, yeah? Crow is clearly still alive, and we have seen that his Divine Knight is there in ghostly form. Leanne Sandlet, still alive, and we have seen her ghostly Divine Knight. The Jaeger King, we have seen he is still alive, and he has a ghostly Divine Knight. And Osborne is still alive. The Chancellor is still alive. We don't have to see his Divine Knight.
It's my turn now.
But we know he is alive.
Here I
So,
come.
yes. I believe based on this idea, this theory going right now, Osborne
turn.
is in the possession of a Divine
It's down.
Knight.
It's mine!
Crow killed him. We saw it happen.
All right.
Yet, he didn't die?
Our chance!
How?
Too slow.
How didn't he die? The same way the other three haven't died.
Right on.
Divine Knights.
Okay, No sign of issues with the reinforcement armor. I got some amazing data. Oh, she looks like she's having the time of her life.
I've heard she's been through a lot. It shows with how well she can hold her own.
So then the obvious question is, looking at the past within this world, how do I explain the fact that Drykos isn't still alive? That, I don't know. I mean, he did have Valimar. Drykos had Valimar, so if this theory is right, and it makes it so you can't die, why isn't Drykos still alive? For all we know, he might be, but we haven't seen it, is the best way of putting it. But then it's the case of, like, if he is still alive, how has Rean got Valimar? I do think this is probably on the right lines of what's going on, but it's got that little sort of, like, bit in my head of, like, but how do I explain Drykos? If this theory is correct, Drykos should still be alive. Unless there's some kind of stipulation to it where it's like, you have to die in combat. Which would be kind of weird. But, I mean, it could just be a simple case of, like, you die of old age, everything gets reset. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, maybe he just died of old age, didn't die in combat. Therefore, he didn't live forever. So, like, all I can think there is, like, why this is a function, though, why this would be a thing, I don't know. But I do feel like that based on what, like, stuff has been said throughout the game, that feels the most accurate with what we've been told so far. Now, I've scoured the Black Records to see if I can find more stuff about Drykos and see if there's something, but there's only this mention of this curse. And like he's happy that his children don't have the curse. So I'm just wondering, like, is that somehow connected to it or to all of this somehow? And like maybe this curse is the reason hasn't been resurrected, hasn't come back to life. I don't know. I need more information from these Black Records because it's that tantalizing thing of like some of this stuff is clearly going to make sense further down the line. I just can't grasp it yet. Oh, it's just, ooh. I feel like I'm getting somewhere with this, though. I do feel like this is probably going to be the point of this game, though, this Divine Knight coming back. We've seen Crow several times now.
All right, that's the last one. Try and head directly to your destination.
Crow has clearly come back. That's going to be the point of this, is this aspect. And like I said, it would explain Osborn. It would explain it.
Looks like we hit
so
the
well.
jackpot.
That question would finally be answered. How did he survive the end of Cold Steel 1? How is he still alive in Cold Steel 2? Because he has a Divine Knight. Right. So we've reached the end here, obviously. So that's us done for this part. We'll see you in the next part. Let me know if you think this was a better way of doing the theory video.
Seems like a good spot for a break.
We'll see how it plays out. It was just us testing, seeing if it worked. I feel like it'll be better. I feel like it'll be better. But we shall see what you guys have to say. So, we'll see you in the next part. Ta-ta. For now.